Hi, Anjali. Welcome
Hi,
to Little
Shweta.
Proto Talks.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on, Anjali, because I am very intrigued by your journey. You're a founder of Paramash. You were earlier HR in the corporate sector, and then you went on to teaching. Finally, now you're counseling children and helping parents. This is a unique journey in itself, understanding so many people on the way. I'm
Mhm.
sure anybody viewing us, listening to us, will find it really interesting to learn from your experiences. So tell us, Anjali, about this whole transition and your journey.
So, Shweta, Paramash by Ace did not start as a business idea. It is completely based on my lived experiences, my observations, and whatever experience I had. I always felt that whatever learnings I have, I must share it with people. As an HR professional, I got the opportunity to understand the structure of the organization and interact with employees, understand their professional issues and also their personal issues. Most of the time, they were concerned about how to help their children, how to, make arrangements in a nuclear family, and how the children are going to perform in their academics. So all those things, I used to hear them, and mm, I was I realized this when I myself became a parent, and I understood that no, it was really tough for a working parent, because you actually need a support system when you are away from home. So that stage, and then understanding children, because no, we were never taught parenting. So we were
Yeah.
we are never ready for it. And once I became a parent, and I thought, when my child is 6 months, we generally feel that now I have understood, and by that time the child is grown up, and that you face the challenges of the next stage for which you are not ready.
Mhm.
So understanding child's growth journey was again a challenge. And so this also made me believe that parenting is needed, especially in this changing environment, fast changing world. Because earlier you had this joint family who was there to support. Feel that parents do need help, support, and guidance. And then this pandemic also taught us a lot, and we all learned from it. And my experience, because my children were teenagers at that time, and I realized the problems, and I felt I must do something for parents and for the student. And that is why I started Paramash by Age, where I work for students starting from early childhood to young adulthood.
That's a great cause to work on, especially as you highlighted. By the time you understand the parenting phase, it moves from one stage to the other. So, just, around the fact that you were in a classroom setup, right? You've seen children in that setup. Um, Tell me, what is a life skill that you think doesn't get taught in, those setups and would be really important for children to know? I know traditional curriculum schools are doing quite a lot these days to help with that. But according to your observation, what is that thing that you would say doesn't get covered and should be covered?
So, Shweta, I would like to answer this from three perspectives: what my
Yeah.
experience as a student was, and what my experience as a parent was, and what my experience as a teacher was. So as a student, I remember I really value those teachers who supported me, had faith in me, and who trusted me and guided me. And I would say I felt confident and safe in their presence. So
Mhm.
I realized that it is very important for schools and education. Schools and institutions to provide that safe space to students, because knowledge delivery and giving information is not so important, because nowadays information is anyways available. So in today's context especially, it is very important to make students feel safe, where they can express, they can share, and they can ask questions. Okay, so this was
Mhm.
my experience as a student. And when my children were studying, I would say that, some of the children are very hyperactive. Some of the children have this learning difficulties. They learn differently. But generally, the students, the children, labeled. If my child is not able to sit at one place, the child is labeled that he or she is not well behaved. Uh, we like, the school environment, because they had to manage maybe so many students, they were not able to understand that each child is different, and we have to understand the child. So this was my
Yes.
experience when my children were in school.
Mhm.
Most of the teachers, because they were not trained and they are not trained, so they would always, when you go for PTM, they would always tell you, though, the child needs to work on this, he or she has to improve upon this, and not what is the uniqueness, what is the strength. So after some time, the children know they will be labeled, they will be judged, so they start losing confidence, they don't want to express. So this was my experience. My children were in school, and when, as a teacher, I started teaching in schools, I strongly feel that students and the two supporting pillars, parents and teachers, need to work in collaboration. They have to work together. I experienced that most of the time, parents were expecting from teachers, and teachers were expecting from parents, and in between somewhere the child had to face it. So I strongly feel that
Yeah.
there is need to collaborate, and this triangle where we keep the student at the center, the child at the center, and work in collaboration. So to sum up, I would say the school has to provide safe space where the students can speak freely. No more just rote learning and knowledge transfer. You have to identify the strength of each student, and then collaborate with the parents and work together, not against.
There are so many nuggets of wisdom. The school or the teachers having a definition of an ideal child. And if your
Mhm.
child doesn't fit in that ideal child definition,
Absolutely.
then there's something wrong with that child.
Mhm.
And it's not about their uniqueness.
Mhm.
And you touched upon giving them that comfort to ask questions if they have, right? That's not disobeying anybody, that's reflecting what they're thinking and that
Right.
openness. And recently I was talking to somebody whose child goes to an IB school,
Mhm.
and they were telling me that they expect the IB school to take care of everything because the IB school charges them
Mhm.
loads of money.
Right.
And they're like, it's just that mentality. Probably also as Indians, we get a lot of outsourcing happening in our space. But this
Mhm.
is one place where you cannot and you should not
Absolutely.
outsource. You
Right.
have to be involved. Great, Anjali.
Completely right.
That brings me very neatly to my next question to you. And I really want to ask you this question.
Mhm.
It's about, you've seen people in the corporate setup,
Mhm.
right? You're an HR, you're talking to them, and is there anything that's ever come to you as an immediate, oh, these things don't get taught to us, but had this been taught in school or in other times, in other exposures that children have in their childhood, then it would be
Mhm.
so good because as an adult, then you already have that in your kitty. Is there anything like that?
There are so many things. At
So
most
many.
of the time, we used to feel we were never taught in this in school. Not only time, we used to feel we were never taught in this in school. Not only at our time, even my children, when they are taught, like, if I would explain, how to handle the situation, or sometimes the students had a fight or bullying, or sometimes the child did not get a prize, those acceptance of failure and all. So when I explained it to my children, or when I explain it to the students who come for counseling, they always say this was never taught in school. So there are so many things. And even when I joined the corporate world and was working as an HR professional, these campus placement, the students used to come there for, after campus placements, they were
Right.
brilliant
Yeah.
academically, but they were
Mm.
struggling to make a meal for themselves and how to manage finances. And many a times they ask me, ma'am, I tried to make rice, but it was so soggy and I couldn't eat it. So we don't teach life lessons. We mostly focus on academics, and we actually make them competitive but not ready for life. This I have always experienced, and it is changing. But yeah, the environment is also changing so fast that there are so many
Mhm.
things to teach, not only life skills which are required, but also how to manage yourself. Because there are students who have done academically brilliantly, they have cleared the toughest competitions, but even then, many of them died by suicide because somewhere we have failed, we have not made them ready for life. So I feel, and even in my parenting journey, I realized
Mhm.
that, I was never ready for this. I was never prepared for managing my finances, how to manage, in a budget. So all those things, the life skills are not taught in school. Nowadays, there is focus because of this rising incidents post COVID, and after social media, and the death by suicide has increased. You must be aware of that. So now there is focus in my counseling session also. Parents come, but they are not aware of these issues. Students are not able to manage their emotions. They are not able to have self regulation. They are not ready to accept failures. So these are very important things
Mhm.
to teach our students and the future generation.
I also want to bring up another thing here. This whole competing with each other to be the first ranker, the second ranker, stays with adults for so long that
Mhm.
you can't just do away from that, right? You
Mhm.
constantly compare your children with others. While this is a perspective from, what children are going through, for parents, you touched upon this, right? Nuclear
Mhm.
families, you have no support. There is so much that is required to also keep your career going. So
Mhm.
tell me, once you are a parent, you're thrown into it, you don't know, you're not prepared, you don't know what you are getting into. That pressure that parent goes through raising a child, this entire screen time struggles they have, the tantrums that they see. What would you say to those parents? What can they do differently from the beginning? What can they watch out for to help ease that pressure?
Right. That's a very important question because most of the parents, ask these questions. So, what to do? They mostly say, we have done everything, we try everything, we have done so much, but still my child is not happy. And the parents are really overwhelmed. In fact, the world is changing so fast, and with the technology, even the working parents are finding it difficult to cope up, and then
Yeah.
handling the child who is always growing and throwing different kind of challenges, and the parents are simply not aware and not prepared for it. So most
Mhm.
important thing for the parent, whether you are working parent or you are full time mom, or you are there with the child, you have to connect, you have to interact, you have to understand, you have to be there, you have to provide a safe space where your child can talk to you. Connection is the most important thing, and you cannot control it. And I would say that do not just ask how was the school and how did you study, how much marks did you get, and how much marks your friend got. You just have
Mm.
to be there, listen to what they want to say. And it doesn't require, many a times you say that, we don't have time, we are so busy. Your child, especially when they enter teenage, they do not want you there. They just want you to
Right.
listen to that. They
Mhm.
are not asking you for a solution. And what we do, many a time, parents are giving too much too early. And so
Right.
and they are so overprotective and they try to solve all the problems. So my suggestion would be, connect with the child, be there whatever time you have, early morning and before going to bed. You must have dear time in your family. Dear time is drop everything and reconnect for the day. And
Mhm.
yeah, and you have to model your behavior. Like, you are sitting on the dining table asking the child not to use the phone, and you yourself are on the phone. So,
Mm.
uninterrupted conversation, and do not just ask questions. Listen, be there, listen to them, and also share your experience. It's okay to feel low sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. Teach them how to express their emotions. And I always say this, like, the way, if you do not know maths, you do not know physics, you send the child to a tutor. Or when you are not feeling, good health, you're physically fit, you go to the doctor. If you are not able to handle the situation, you must seek help. Nowadays, there are counselors and there are so many options where you can seek help and go for guidance. So if you are not able to handle it, seek guidance before it's too late.
Do you think seeking guidance has a taboo associated with it? People don't want to seek guidance till the
Yes, I
extremes.
would say, because in our society, it has been like many a times, even I was told, and parents come and say that, my in laws say, or my parents say that we have also raised children. My in laws were laughing. My parents were saying, what is this? There rocket science about it. We have also raised children. But now things
Mm.
are different. So
Mm.
yes, it is, like, people are apprehensive. They feel that most of the time, everything will get better with time. But it doesn't. Many a time, if it gets delayed, it gets even worse. Especially, there are certain things which, if it is not addressed in foundation years, like, I'll give you just a short example. Many a times, I have experienced that a child is not able to write, or
Yeah.
they are not able to read something. The parents would say that you just need to be strict with the child. They fail to understand. If
Mhm.
I would say that, the child has learning difficulty, then they would say, no, ma'am, my in-laws said that my child's father, he also started reading very late. So acceptance is not
Uh,
there. They are in denial
mm.
mode. So yes, they are reluctant seeking help. Seeking help is not your weakness. Seeking help is, the sign of an aware parent.
Wow. I hope everybody listens to this. It's not your weakness asking for support. In fact, it shows that you're an aware parent.
Right.
That's so important. Okay, Anjali, tell me about what is an experience that a child can have, let's say, to grow, to be able to be more expressive, be more empathetic towards others. And also, those things that we're talking about never gets taught in school, never gets taught by parents, but then you're just suddenly facing adulthood and there you are. Make your rice, make your life happen, manage your finances. So, what is it that can make them more aware? Like one of the things that Little Trotter is covering is global cultures and the empathy towards people who follow a different religion, a different, live in a different place and have been brought up in a different place. So, what would you say are those experiences that shape a child?
Right. So that's a very important question, Shweta. I've been counseling students and I've been telling my children also that nowadays the world is so connected that you don't have to just know about your surroundings and just study to seek a job, but you should, be prepared to be a global citizen. You are sitting here in one part of the world working for some company in other part of the world, and the world is one. Take for example problems related to environment, it is affecting globally. So we need to teach our children to be a global responsible citizen, and for that understanding about the culture, why people are different, why things people do differently, how the geography, the climate, weather affects people. Even in India, the culture is so diverse, and that knowing about others and understanding why they are doing things differently makes you empathetic, and you have acceptance. There is less conflict. And then when you are grown up, you are able to solve complex problems which have a global effect. When you understand, then you think logically, and you don't react to situations because you are aware, then you respond to it.
So thankful to you to take this time, Anjali. I would leave you with one last question because this is all that we are working on, things that don't get covered in school or in other forums. We want the children to play their way through it and just learn it. They will not know that they're learning something, but it will shape them the way it should. So we had this little trotter suitcase that we sent out as a part of the kit. Imagine that you had this opportunity of putting something in that little trotter suitcase before it went out to a child. What is that one thing, Anjali, that you will say, put it in there, Shweta, send this one thing in that pack so that the child gets to know about it at this stage?
That's a beautiful question, Shweta. And I love the way you have framed it, because truly life is a journey and each child is walking their own unique path. Okay. There must be something which helps them navigate the outer world and also understand their inner world. Okay. So the tools which will help navigate the outer world would help them understand the culture, the people around the world, and the things which would help them understand their feeling, their emotions, and labeling it. There must be something which teaches them emotional regulation and resilience, getting ready to be equipped to handle adverse situations in life.
Anjali, that was such a lovely conversation to have with you today and to learn from you what parents are coming to you for. Awareness is really important, and it's don't be shy to ask for help. That's a strong message going out today. Thank you, Anjali.